Okay, let's get into Harold's Makita. So, first thing we'll look at is the original cylinder. There's hardly any wear, so it looks good. Bring it in a bit closer. It's got a few marks and stuff, but it's good. I'm happy with that. But what I did find on the original pulse line, you guys can see that. The pulse line's cracked. So it was soon would have started sucking air and it would start leaning it and would have killed the saw. So it's good that it came to the workshop for a bit of work mucking around with porting. So you see that the transfers on these a bit funny up here. This pulse line side here, this pulse side, that I'm not going to touch that much. I will address where the airflow goes through on the big bore. It's the original one, but I will go and open this a lot more, so more airflow in there, so I've got more air and petrol in the saw. So I go down quite a bit. I'll set you up underneath the camera. Okay, now I don't want to upset where the pulse line is on this. I like saws where the pulse line is in the middle, just a more even pressure. But here I'll cut that transfer down quite a bit. Let more airflow through there. I won't touch the upper transfers at all. There's no problem with that. I'm really surprised the base gasket and this really thin base gasket. That's the original. I'll send that back to you, Paul. Harold. Now here's the piston out of the big bore. I will open that window here a bit more on the piston. That's the front side of the exhaust side. You see the arrow on that. But the other side is nice. I'll address that to clean it all up. Once that cleaned up, I'll do both sides. Clean it up, just make it so more airflow flows through the piston. It's a single piston, single ring piston. So that's a big bore. So you see there where the pulse line goes on that part there. So that's all clean. I'll leave that alone. I'll just clean it up so no mucks and stuff, but I want the pulse to be a proper pulse to the carby. You start eating that up there, you can cause an issue with the pulse, so there'll be no base gasket on this hopefully. But I will eat that down to about probably up there, get more volume in the base. Now the chamber in the bottom of the piston cylinder is the same on the factory one. Basically the same. I'd say it might be smaller actually. So this big ball had more of a kick. So I'll clean it up. There's a bit of crap in there, I'll clean it up too. But yeah, that's the plan. So I'll pull this part here, show what it looks like on one side only, but you gotta make sure you don't muck around with that pulse line. But I need a new pulse line. I'll open up the intake a bit, but I've still got to check out the numbers and see where she sits. Right, I'll go back to work. So I just had a quick look at combustion chambers. This is a still MS660, I believe. So the combustion chamber is in the center of the cylinder, which I prefer, and hopefully I'll actually make more power of that in the future, but that's another story. I tried fitting that piston against the Makita. The steel piston is slightly taller when you put the wrist pin in or gudgeon pin, so you can't use the steel piston. But if you wanted to machine it back, maybe you could make a massive pop-up, or a pop-up if you want to. That's another way of doing it. But if you look at the Makita, the combustion chamber is at the back of the cylinder, which I think's more stuff I'm researching to do with wave fronts and combustion. Realistically, guys, what we're doing is you're limited by one thing, and that's the fuel you're burning, how fast it will burn and how it will go. So they're working on that, I think. When you come like your timing, so as your piston goes up, you got to know the fuel and it goes bang. It takes time to go boom, and that time will be more on that side of the cylinder. And then by the time the cylinder starts coming down, and the wave front goes towards the exhaust. So that's the way I think of it. It's all about the fuel. Unless you go alcohol, it burns differently. But we're limited by one thing, it's the fuel. So get good fuel, clean good fuel. So steel piston's out. Now what I did to the piston, I'm still working on it. That's the side of it I poured. So I hardly touched it. Opened it up and deburred all the stuff around that. So you just got to clean up around the edges. You have to go back in there with a diamond wheel, but that's all I'm doing. So I open up the windows just a bit. That's the side. So see how they're a bit more smaller. So that's all you do is make them a bit bigger. A little bit goes a long way, remember guys. So go in the inside your arm piston too, and make sure there's no burrs. So if you look at casting marks, no one just there. There's dags and stuff. And that will interfere the way fuel comes through. So not a bad bird just there. But that's what you look for, guys. Closer for you. So see the burrs? They're dags from the casting. So just get rid of them, clean them up. Focus. Clean them up so you don't have burrs and stuff. That's what you do. Now I'll go back through here with wet and dry with sandpaper, clean it right up and wash it into hot soapy water and put this in the saw and check out the timing numbers to see what this new cylinder is. I think the cylinder might be quite hot the way it is, but I'll still check it out before I do anything. So I clean it all up. There's still burrs on top of that. There's burrs everywhere, so that's all you're doing. Alright, next cylinder. This is stuff I don't normally show. It's because I don't get around to showing, I suppose. I'll show you guys. Hope you understand my mumbling. But I'm enjoying getting back to pouring. It's good fun. So there's the piston. I've deburred and all that. But I'm now working on a bit water. Now working to make sure there's no stuff that can actually fall back off the ends of the cylinder and scratch the piston after I've done all the work. So I've poured the windows, made them slightly bigger and matched them best I can by eye. But now I'm going back in with some 400 grit paper, just making sure there's no roughness in there. Just gently. Just gently. Don't do too much. Make sure there's no crap there. Like that. I'll rip a little bit of paper off because now it's worn out. So this is basically it, just polishing it off. Go to the other side now. Just make sure it's smooth. Then I've lost the track where I was. Just in there, you get it clean. Get a buff. Run over all the edges. Take your time, guys. There's no rush. Make sure you get all your edges. All that is a split pin. Or collar pin. Just came out, so that's just a split pin that holds the paper. Get it. See like that. Nothing hard. Go in there, center those edges off. And the sides like that. Make sure it's nice. I'll finish that up with 1200 grit around all the edges. I don't really like the way this ring has hardly any metal under the edge here. So I'll make sure it's clean and smooth. I'll buff it all up. I do a lot of stuff this guy you don't really see. I'll go across that and buff it with that little cotton thing there. And to make sure there's no sharp edges at all before I do any more work. Right guys, that's one of my little tricks. This part of Harold's saw is probably something people don't talk about that much. I'll try and talk as best I can. Mouth is dry from endones. Loads of pain shit. Now, you're clean. Now, this piston has been cleaned with soapy hot water. So it should look, let's have the torch off. So I've been there, cleaned it up. Now, that was probably an hour ago talking about stuff in the house. They're the cotton buds where I cleaned it up, so you see there's a bit of crap there. I was doing that, but a bit of aluminium. So you see, cleanness, that's what, directly after I washed it. So what I'm saying is, realistically it should be reasonably clean. So we made the windows just a bit bigger. They're matching. See, straight through like that. So I kind of believe it's clean, but is it really clean? So I'll have a look. So I'll clean it out with a compressor there, blow it out. It's been dry for probably over an hour now, but I haven't blown it, so we'll blow it. Clean it for the gudgeon hole or wrist pin hole. Now, I've got some clean cotton buds here. How clean is it really after I went through and washed it? Now, I'll run my cotton bud through that. Nice and big. That, to me, looks pretty clean. But you'd be surprised, crap, what you come off. So, right there, around that. See, there is still here. So, what I'm saying is, if you do this clean. There's one cotton bud from one side. See if there's any crap anywhere. See, bit of crap in there. So, you think it's clean, try again. So, now we'll do the other side with a clean cotton bud, so I'll move the piston. That way I don't have crap transferring from the piston to cylinder. I want to be 100% clean. That's pretty good aside, this hole here. Now I do this when it's hot and soapy. So you think it'll be 100% clean, but you're surprised. See? Bit of crap. So guys, when you do this, clean. Yeah, look at that crap there. So there is metal, and you'd be surprised what you have to get off. So just give it a bit of rubber to make sure there's no crap as much as you can. But anyway, I thought I'd show you that you have to clean and make sure things are clean. So I'm going to now fit this piston to the saw so I can do a degree wheel and see where the degrees sit and what that cylinder is before I do the port work, just to see where it sits. But now I can put this piston in and know it's been done, it's clean. I'm not going to modify it anymore. This is a work saw, but I've made this small one, slightly taller, slightly fatter. Make sure this one left here is to the roof there. It's a bit wider. Take all the casting marks out. So I cleaned it up so be a bit light. So she should flow a hell of a lot better. Now, D-Bird, sanded all the sharp edges, nothing sharp. So this is now a clean piston ready to rock and roll. And she will rock and roll this bugger. Make sure of it. So I'll clean up. And when I diamond wheels, or I'll let me diamond bit and make sure I went in all the edges with diamond burr and make sure there's no sharp stuff anywhere. So this piston will go good. Alright, next step on the saw. Now this part of the saw, I only just realised, is what the Achilles heel of the saw is. If you go look at a Husqvarna 372 XP, it'd be different. I prefer the Chinese made one because they actually have a recess just there. So it goes down more of an angle. There's a screwdriver. So it's more of an angle like that. So the airflow can come up to your transfers and go in through the upper transfers. Now this being flat, if you look at the cylinder, there's not much room for movement. So there, so the airflow from the bottom of your cylinder comes along, hits a brick wall, gets that way, then it has to go back up that way. So the airflow issue for this thing is what's holding it back. But they might have designed it for that particular reason, to give it torque, because I find all these things cause torque, but also restrictions. But I saw that and I thought, guys, you have to see it. So it's a weird design, but as I said before, I'm going to open up this transfer chamber, go down a bit and get some more air, but not the pulse side, but the other side. So I'll eat that away, just there, and make sure everything port matches. You see this gasket here. You could have gone a bit wider, but I'm going to do a base gasket delete. So I just cleaned up the base on this saw here. I'm about to transfer the that piston off it now. This is the original piston. But you see that flow pattern sort of thing. Yeah, my sole there. I'm not sure why that one's like that. We know that flow pattern is. But we'll fix that and we'll make it rock and roll. Okay, I will note too, I think they knew there's an issue with this. So I'll try and zoom in that as I can. You look just here. There's a bit of a relief there for airflow, and also that size of the relief just there. A little bit the same other size, a little bit of airflow. Relief that side there. Still at the air through that side there. So they know there's an issue with that, but they built this so the bearings, they've got something to hold the bearings up, because there's quite a bit of metal there for the bearings. But yeah, I fixed that issue. So next step, piston. Okay, the wrist pin clips are in. There's the ones here. They're C-shaped. They're absolute bugger to put in there, but they're in. I've checked them so both sides. You see that little bit of wire there. If you've never done one, yeah, it's a real drama to fit that. But I made sure they're both in there. Both sides. Just a little bit of wire. But that's all there is, but they're a pain in the ass to fit. You wait till you do one. Okay, so now I've got the saw zeroed in, and we'll see what the inlet and exhaust is, because I'll be quite surprised now. The factory one, the intake was 78. So we'll see, 78 on the intake. Now I haven't looked yet, I just screwed it in, so zeroed it in, I should say. So we'll see together. Go down. 20 more light there. Yeah, right there. Just cracking there. Right. So where we sit? 78. So it's the same. So I'll write that down, 78, wow. Now, I will say the squish for this one is about 28,000 an inch. Yeah, 28. So the original was 40,000. That was with a base gasket. So there's plenty of room for that, so that's nice. So now work out what the exhaust is. How do I do this? I'll pause you guys, I'll work it out. Hang on, guys. Pause it out and I'll work it out. So the exhaust, hang on. The exhaust is, what's that, 102, hang on. 102, yeah, or 103 thereabouts. So the big ball kit for the Makita is exactly the same as the standard one, so I'm quite surprised with that. Transfer chambers, I don't know if I see them, they should be the same. Let's see if I can see them without knocking stuff over. Right, what are they going to be? Out there, I say it'd be the same. Okay, 138, what were they? 130, wow. We're going to talk, hang on, guys. So I checked and checked and checked. So we're running about 131 roughly thereabouts, base case of the light. So, what was the exhaust? 103, so. Yeah, it gives me plenty of blow down, so. Well, here's a blow down, wow. So, I'm not going to make the exhaust roof any higher. I'm going to make it a little bit wider, what it look like. Bit wider, maybe. Yeah, I'll go a bit wider, not much. Doesn't need it. Piston goes all the way down, it's good. Piston goes to go all the way up, don't want no skirt disappearing. Right, so not seeing the bottom of the skirt. That's good. So really, this saw, all intents and purposes, needs the transfer blade with. it's a hot saw ready for battery. So I'm going to dig out a piece of that part there, clean up there a bit, but that's basically it. Intake, I'll square it up at the bottom, so that part there, I'll make that straight across there, clean it up, make sure there's no grooves. The exhaust, I've got a bit of wire and polish the exhaust, there's no crap in there. This is standard one, but the transfers on that part there, on the twins part there, I'll needle point that so the air can flow through there nicely. I'll probably go needle point to the front one there, the side there probably, and we'll see how she goes with that. But yeah, pretty good cylinder, except I don't like that part there because I showed you before. It's weird design, but I make it go, I'll make it hum. Alright guys, this is the end of this video. It's been a long one. That's the port numbers, so they're both the same, intake same, 7878. The exhaust was 104 on standard. The exhaust now on the big box 103. Transfers 130 on the original one. I'm looking about 130, 131 on the new one. The squish is a bit bigger. On the original was 40 thou, and the squish now, this one here is 28 thou. And probably a bit lower than that, should be 25 thou. So, no problems with all that crap, but yeah, she'll go good. Alright, over and out. I need some painkillers. Alright guys, see ya.